Hi, and welcome to the Richard and Judy Book Club, exclusively at WHSmith. And this is our very first novel, which we are talking about today and interviewing the lovely author. It's called Sister. It's by Rosamund Lupton. It's a first novel, which is very hard to believe, actually, because it is incredibly accomplished, and it's a real page-turner. It really is. Thank you for coming to talk to us, Rosamund. Yeah, Sister, very literally Sister, and you say that part of it was inspired by your own relationship with your own sister.
Absolutely, I'm very close to my younger sister.
Right.
And I was very keen to write something about how powerful that bond can be between sisters.
And indeed it is, because just to set the story up, the older sister in this book, Beatrice, who is successful, living in New York, has this preppy boyfriend, you know, whatever, very, very buttoned up. She has a younger sister called Tess, who's much more of a hippie-ish art student in London. And Tess goes missing. Yeah. And Beatrice gets a phone call from their mother and immediately goes back to London to trace her. And actually the depth, I mean, I love the way it's written, because it's written as an extended letter, really, from Beatrice to Tess, about how she's tried to find her and how she's tried to find out what happened to her. And it's incredibly emotional.
And when you were writing about it, before things begin to appear and emerge in terms of the devilnishness of the mystery, did you feel almost a kind of a faux sense of loss about your own sister if you're identifying so strongly? Were you kind of creating in yourself, oh God, how would I feel if my sister disappeared?
I think if you do love someone very much, the flip side of that is what happens if, you know.
Yeah.
And I bought my sister one of those little alarms that you can carry around with you. You
Did
know,
you?
because I think I do have that
really?
set. Yeah, I do.
How much older, younger than you?
She's not that much younger, but I'm a typical
you're
older
very
sister,
protective.
right? Yeah.
So because of writing a book about a sister going missing and meeting a terrible end, you bought your sister an alarm, a kind of rape alarm.
I did, and she has to ring me, give 2 rings on her mobile when she gets home. It's terrible, actually. Kill me for saying this now. It's just being very older sisterish.
I think it's lovely. But it's also a very gripping mystery, because she has to find, Beatrice comes and she comes back to London and she sets herself up in her sister Tess's grotty old flat, really. She goes tries to discover what's happened to her sister. She knows it's something dreadful. I think I can give this away because it happens very early on in the book, that Tess had been pregnant. She, the younger sister, not married, and actually the only person she told was Beatrice. And so Tess had been having this baby, which makes the mystery of what's happened to her even greater. And gradually, as we get through the book, we find that the core of the book, apart from the love between the sisters, is this genetic thriller. Again, I think I can give this away, that there is cystic fibrosis in the sisters' family. They had a little brother who died of it.
We should explain that if you don't know, that CF is a debilitating lung disease which does kill people, usually in their 20s or 30s, although the age is that people are surviving it is getting longer all the time. But it is incurable, just so you have that.
And so it becomes apparent that Tess, being pregnant with a baby and having lost a brother to cystic fibrosis, enters into a radical but totally above board genetic screening program.
And what's the aim of that program?
I thought what I was trying to do is to say that the cystic fibrosis and the fictional, as for now anyway, cure for it with genetics is fantastic and completely different from genetic enhancement. And what I wanted the book to do is to say one is perfectly valid and really important, and the other one is really terrifying. And I hope that the story would highlight the difference between the two.
And it does, and as Tess finds out more and more about this screening program that her sister's been taking part in, and indeed other women have been taking part in, the more the alarm bells start to ring.
And so do yours as the reader. I mean, it's a descent into darkness, isn't it, really?
Yes.
This journey, as she searches for a sister, the more she finds out, the more her fears grow, and the more, as readers, our throats are almost choked by apprehension. Oh no, this can't be happening, and then it does. You think, oh my God. Look, let's talk about you as a writer for a little bit. I mean, you won a writing competition, didn't you?
Yes, I was Carlton Television.
Carlton?
Years ago, yes. They did a short film, so a 30-minute film set on the London Underground.
Okay.
And mine was made and broadcast, which is how I sort of started in television.
So you started screenwriting, really? Script writing.
Yeah.
And this
who for? What kind of programmes?
All sorts of programmes.
But fiction?
Fiction, yes. I wrote a film that was made, a low-budget UK film, and one that's made in Germany.
So at what point did you think, this is all very well writing for the screen, I want to actually do what, let's face it, is the business, I want to write a novel?
I think it was when a director said, you just write too much stage direction. Or actors say, please don't tell me how to write, how to act. I'm too much of a control freak, really, to be writing scripts.
Yeah, you had to, because of the genetic stuff, you must have had to do an awful lot of research. Isn't your husband, is he an obstetrician?
He is.
Yeah,
he
right.
Is. So
okay,
that's
so you
quite
had
helpful.
The childbirth, and you got to know the way hospitals run and doctors operate and things. But the actual research must have been, scientific research must have been
It's quite hard because it's so quickly evolving. So, and you don't want to be writing about something which is really happening and not know that it's really happening.
Yeah.
So I was
So you had to pitch it quite a long way forward,
yes,
didn't you,
exactly.
in terms of technical possibility.
And then things actually did start getting closer to what I'd written, interestingly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of research on the net, and I read a lot, and sometimes it was just gobbledygook, the science, and I'd have to get a friend to try and help me, and a doctor to explain what it all meant.
And when do you write? Because you've got 2 children, haven't you? You've got, they're quite young.
Yes. Well, I have a very focused writing day. Drop the kids at school, run home, write like mad, and then go and pick them up in the house.
And did you plot? We've been talking to various authors. Where we've run a book club for ages, and we talk to authors about how they do it and what they do first. And some say they plot very meticulously before they even start to write. Others say that they just get the idea for something and then start writing, and it all kind of comes. Which did you do?
I should have plotted it first. I learned the hard way. No, well, I wrote it, and I had the relationship, and that was all great, and I knew what this actual story was.
Yeah.
But my first effort at plotting was pitiful, really, and I had to go back.
Oh, really? So
it's very obvious who the baddie was. Each of the red herrings had just been knocked down.
But it isn't at all.
But then
then
I had to.
No, the baddie's a complete surprise.
And then maybe she's playing because she did a rewrite. Yeah. I'm just saying. But you're on your second novel now.
Yes.
And so have you plotted that very carefully?
This one I did the hard work first. I've done the plotting absolutely, and then I do the fun stuff, which is the writing and the characters.
You're frightening us because we're writing our novels at the moment, and we're not plotting them at all.
Well, you're cleverer than me. Probably just
not at all. No, I just took a hint from Stephen King, who wrote a marvellous book called On Writing, and he said, don't bother with the plot, just get the idea and write.
I think that's probably good, because once you've written what you're really interested in, the plot, you can sort it out.
Yeah.
Seeing as it was based on your relationship with your beloved sister, who now carries a rape alarm, courtesy of this book, we won't give the ending away, but you have to, let's put it this way, you have to leave your characters behind when you write the end for the last time and put it in a drawer, send it to the publisher, whatever. Did you have a sort of a sense of grieving for the character that you created?
I thought I got her to a good place, so I was happy to leave her without giving the ending away, and I definitely, so it felt like it was a natural end, and I was happy.
Yes, and to some extent it's an uplifting end as well.
I hope so.
Definitely.
I hope so that it's.
And why did you choose the idea of it being a long, never to be delivered letter?
I'm not sure. I think it's partly my script writing means that it's easier for me to write a long monologue, or half a dialogue, really, even though the other person doesn't speak back. Although sometimes she kind of does. Beatrice imagines what her response would be. So it was really just the way that I like to write.
Yes.
My sister and I went to different boarding schools, and we used to write to each other.
Oh, that's interesting.
So we did. So it's actually quite.
So you cheated, really, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Well, it's a terrific book. I mean, it's a great mystery, and it's also a very affecting relationship story.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And this is where we'd like to say that we very much want your views on all of our books. If you want to comment on Rosamund Lupton's book, Sister, or any of them, do please post your views on our website, and also you can vote for your favourite.
And you can do that, he said, with barely a glance at his notes, to www.whsmith.co.uk/Richard and Judy. And thank you very much for watching, and there are lots more interviews with our authors in this first section of the Richard and Judy Book Club coming up on this website. Thanks for being here.